What if I told you there's a place where the ocean disappears, only to return 6 hours later, higher than a four-story building? Welcome to the Bay of Fundy, home to the world's highest tides. Here the ocean can rise more than 40 feet at Hopewell Rocks. Across the Bay of Fundy lies Minas Basin in Nova Scotia, where the world's highest tides reach their greatest heights. Here, the difference between low and high tide can exceed 50 feet, creating one of the most remarkable natural spectacles on Earth. If we're fortunate enough to return to the Bay of Fundy, renting a kayak will be our first priority. Imagine quietly paddling among the towering flower pot rocks as the world's highest tides transform the coastline around you. It would be an unforgettable adventure and a chance to experience one of nature's greatest spectacles from a truly unique perspective. The Bay of Fundy is located on Canada's Atlantic coast between the provinces of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. It's here that the unique shape of the bay and the forces of the Atlantic Ocean combine to create the world's highest tides and transforming the landscape twice every day. Welcome to Fundy National Park, your gateway to the Bay of Fundy. From scenic coastlines and forested trails to breathtaking views of the world's highest tides, it's the perfect place to experience one of Canada's greatest natural wonders. From the Diamond Rock viewing area, a scenic trail and staircase lead down to the ocean floor at low tide. As you descend the cliffs, you'll enter an incredible landscape where towering flower pot rocks rise all around you. Walking among these remarkable formations is one of the most unforgettable experiences at Hopewell Rocks, and one you'll appreciate even more when the world's highest tides return just a few hours later. Hopewell Rocks is the Bay of Fundy's most iconic attraction. This is rockweed, also known as bladderwrack, one of the Bay of Fundy's most common seaweeds. Its small, air-filled bladders act like tiny floats, lifting the fronds toward the sunlight at high tide for photosynthesis. When the tide recedes, the rockweed blankets the shoreline, providing food and shelter for crabs, snails, young fish, and countless other marine creatures. It's a perfect example of how the Bay of Fundy's extraordinary tides support a rich and thriving coastal ecosystem. At low tide, visitors can walk on the ocean floor among the towering flower pot rocks. These are the famous flower pot rocks at Hopewell Rocks, up close. They are the Bay of Fundy's most iconic landmark. Carved by centuries of relentless tides, these towering sandstone formations continue to evolve with every rise and fall of the sea. To truly experience the magic of Hopewell Rocks, you have to see it twice. Visit at low tide, when the ocean reveals a vast seafloor where you can walk among the towering flowerpot rocks. Then return just 6 hours later to witness one of nature's most dramatic transformations as more than 50 feet of seawater fills the bay, turning the same rock formations into towering sea stacks. Just a few hours later, the world's highest tides transformed the landscape, raising the water more than 40 feet and completely changing the scenery. It's one of the few places on Earth where you can experience two dramatically different worlds in a single day. About 3 hours before high tide, the Bay of Fundy begins its remarkable transformation as the water steadily returns. During the final 1 to 2 hours, the tide rises rapidly, covering the ocean floor at Hopewell Rocks. At high tide, the water briefly reaches its peak before slowly receding, beginning the cycle all over again. Every 12 hours and 25 minutes, the Bay of Fundy puts on one of nature's greatest spectacles with 2 high tides and 2 low tides each day. Because each tide arrives about 50 minutes later than the day before, every visit offers a unique and unforgettable experience. It's time to head back. The rising tide is beginning to reclaim the bay. In just a few hours, the ocean floor where we stood will disappear beneath more than 40 feet of seawater. As our journey through the Bay of Fundy comes to an end, we leave with memories that will last a lifetime. We walk the ocean floor, watch the world's highest tides transform the landscape, and experience traditions that have endured for generations. Long after the tides have risen and fallen, the wonder of this extraordinary place will remain in our hearts, calling us back to experience its magic once again. After spending an unforgettable day exploring the Bay of Fundy, we headed to our campsite at Point Wolf Campground. Reached by crossing the historic Point Wolf covered bridge, the campground offered quiet forest campsites and easy access to scenic hiking trails leading to the rugged Bay of Fundy coastline. While camping here, some fellow campers told us about opening night of lobster season in nearby Alma. Their own excitement was infectious, and we knew we had to experience this unique maritime tradition for ourselves. The drive to Alma took only minutes, but our excitement grew with every turn as we wondered what opening night of lobster season would be like. Before arriving in the charming village of Alma, New Brunswick, we were greeted by this delightful lobster buoy tree. Each brightly painted buoy once helped a local fisherman identify lobster traps in the Bay of Fundy's busy waters, and together they tell the colorful story of generations who have made their living from the sea. It's a cheerful welcome to Alma and a fun reminder that here, fishing isn't just a livelihood, it's a way of life. The Bay of Fundy's rich waters have supported generations of lobster fishermen, but one day each year stands above the rest. Setting Day, the opening of lobster season. Long before sunrise, excitement builds. Lobster boats crowd the docks. Towering stacks of traps stand ready. The crews make their final preparations, while families and visitors gather along the waterfront to watch. You can feel the anticipation in the air as everyone waits for the moment the fleet heads out together. For generations of fishermen, opening day or setting day is more than the start of lobster season. It's a night of tradition, excitement, and hope for safe seas and a successful year on the Bay of Fundy. Every lobster trap carries an official identification tag unique to its owner. These tags help fisheries officers identify each trap, enforce fishing regulations, and protect one of Canada's most valuable and carefully managed fisheries. At low tide, fishing boats rest on the harbor floor, waiting for the bay's famous tides to return. Just a few hours later, they are floating once again, ready to head out for setting day, the exciting start of a new lobster season. It's a remarkable daily rhythm that has shaped life along this extraordinary coastline for generations. As darkness settles over the harbor, the Fundy Predator sits fully loaded and ready for one of the year's most anticipated nights. Stacked high with brightly colored lobster traps, buoys, and gear, the vessel represents months of preparation and generations of fishing tradition. Across the wharf, deck lights illuminate the busy harbor as anticipation fills the air. Soon, hundreds of lobster boats will head into the Bay of Fundy together, beginning opening day by setting the first traps of a new season. Each crew carrying hopes for safe seas, a successful catch, and a prosperous year ahead. A bagpiper dressed in a bright lobster costume entertains the crowd as the harbor comes alive with excitement. Surrounded by illuminated fishing boats, the lively music adds to the festive atmosphere, while families, friends, and visitors celebrate one of the Bay of Fundy's most cherished traditions before the lobster fleet heads out to sea. Fireworks illuminate the Bay of Fundy sky, their colorful reflections shimmering across the calm harbor. Fishing families, friends, and visitors gather along the waterfront to celebrate a tradition that has united these coastal communities for generations. It is a festive send-off before the lobster fleet heads into the darkness to begin a new season. In the final moments before departure, fishermen pause beside stacks of lobster traps after months of preparation. Soon they will cast off the lines, head into the darkness of the Bay of Fundy, and begin setting thousands of traps, continuing a proud tradition that has sustained these coastal communities for generations. One by one, the lobster boats disappear into the darkness, their navigation lights dancing across the calm water. Loaded with traps and filled with hope, the crews set course for their fishing grounds, carrying on a tradition passed down through generations. With every boat that leaves the harbor, another lobster season begins. As the last lights fade into the darkness, one thing becomes clear. The Bay of Fundy isn't remembered only for its extraordinary tides, but for the people whose lives rise and fall with them. It's a place you'll never forget. The last boat slipped beyond the harbor lights and into the darkness of the Bay of Fundy. By sunrise, thousands of lobster traps will be resting on the sea floor, beginning another season that supports families and coastal communities throughout the region. Long after the tides have risen and fallen once again, the memories of the Bay of Fundy, its breathtaking landscapes, remarkable tides, and centuries-old fishing tradition remain with us, a lasting reminder of one of Canada's most extraordinary natural wonders. The tides have turned and the boats have disappeared beyond the horizon. But the memories of this remarkable place will remain with us for a lifetime. Our next adventure is just around the corner, and we'd love for you to come along. Together, we'll discover breathtaking places, uncover fascinating history, and create memories that last a lifetime. Like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you won't miss where our next adventure takes us.